Alright. Everything is all set up, and we can get started. So yeah, welcome back to Factorio, where last time we were doing something, probably. I think it's red circuits continue to be the problem, primarily. And let's see, we can also upgrade our furnaces to not use coal. That's an option as well. And there's probably some other stuff we can do too. So let's see here. We unlocked advanced oil refining last time, but I obviously haven't set it up. So I'm gonna have to do that, although the space I have, at least that one, is not especially great. And we have all of these, which are filling, but seemingly not terribly quickly. And then we have this area up here, which is the oil refining area. Now, what we need to do is get a whole bunch of oil refineries and just figure out how this works. Alright, and apparently we need more stone bricks. This should be right around here somewhere. Let's grab a bunch of those and craft a couple more, and then we're going to need steel plates apparently. So let's get down here and grab some of those and queue up a couple more. Alright, that should probably be enough refineries for now at least. Not going to go too completely crazy with this, just get a good solid start on it. As far as the batteries go, yeah, they're draining way too quickly, so we're gonna need more solar panels at very minimum, because these didn't fill all the way up. Alright, but before we do that, we've unlocked electric engines, so let's keep technology coming with robotics. That sounds like a fun thing to queue up. Alright, so then we should get those and those into the hotbar somewhere. And then we can set them up. So we have advanced oil processing, which is oil and water to heavy oil, light oil, and petroleum gas. Now let's blow up some of these trees, because we're going to need this space. Alright, so if we just get, like, I don't know, 2 of those, let's say, then we need to come up with a system for combining the outputs. So we need to get the oil and the heavy oil. We need to get the petroleum and the heavy oil and the light oil all out into separate pipes, which I think if we just go like that, and that would extend across obviously for more of them, then that comes across to there, and that comes across to like there. This is supposed to be facing that way. So then we just have to put these in for those two. And now we can attach those pipes along as well. And those pipes. And now if we just fill these up with oil and water, which I guess we can just grab from here. And the inputs for these are going to have to be approximately the same. Same sort of idea. So we get a pipe going like there for the water. And then these need to get across that pipe and go across there for the oil. Now, how do I get over there myself? I'm going to need to put something in there so that I can walk around this area. Then we take this pipe over. It goes under that belt and hooks up to that. Alright, so then we just power that on. And those should both run and provide us with each of the three thingamabobs. Now, I don't know how many of these we're going to need, but as long as we just keep going down a space to expand up to the north, that should be fine, and we can do the actual crafting itself of the future stuff down to the south. Just because the south is a bit more crowded, there's a little less room to expand to. Alright, so we have this. Nice and simple. Now we have to figure out what we actually do with all of these parts. So is that also in an oil refinery? No, it's in... The rest of it is going to be in chemical plants, I guess? Yeah, okay. So, we need to make lubricant for something. And what else do we need? So the heavy oil is just going to go to lubricant, I guess. So let's just pop that in. And bring it across. So we are going to have to worry about the whole byproduct situation, right? Because if we don't use enough heavy oil, then these are going to clog and not produce the other stuff that we need. Which means we need something else to do with all of the excess heavy oil that isn't made into lubricant. Or something to use the lubricant for. And so I guess we can just do that. So I need more chemical plants. So let's craft a bunch of those. Unlock the electric engine, that's right. That was something that we did. Alright, so we are apparently making some lubricant bit by bit. And this is... So this is 10 heavy oil, total 18 light oil, and 22 petroleum gas. Alright, so we have that, which is theoretically, if we have something to do with the lubricant, that will be all of the heavy oil we need. Then we grab this, and why does this look like it's 2 pipes of light oil? Something has gone wrong here. How? Oh, I must have mixed them up. Yeah, so these aren't connected in properly, I think. So we need to clear those out. Make sure we do it right. So this is going to be the heavy oil pipe. Like that. Then this is going to be the light oil pipe. Like that. And it doesn't seem to be filling. Oh, probably because the whole thing is clogged, right? Alright, so then we have to set this to heavy oil to light oil. But we're going to need to get water over there as well. Can't mess up liquids. Two liquids will never mix. Yep, that's good to know. Although you still can get issues where you have the wrong thing in the pipe and now the right thing can never enter the pipe until you clear it. Just gotta be careful with that. Alright, so the water has to come around there and then go in there. And now I seem to have boxed myself in a little bit. That's fine. The heavy oil just goes there. And power that up. Alright, let's get through there. And I probably am not going to need that entrance, but just in case it exists. Alright, so then that is light oil. And now we just need something to do with all the petroleum, which I guess we can make sulfur or potentially plastic. There's some trick to this. How do you deal with fluid byproducts? Because it seems like that's going to be quite the problem here. So let's see. Trying to think of how this works. So we need to get petroleum doing something, and I guess we can just make it solid fuel, I guess. Just for purposes of testing it. So that goes down there. And you can make solid fuel because it's easiest. And then that can be just output into a random box. Alright, so then we have all of this. And now eventually this is going to stop working once these all fill up with stuff, which means that I'm going to have to figure out what to do with them. And I guess I could do more solid fuel crafting as like overflow protection. But what I actually need is, well, I need sulfur and plastic. Both of those are with petroleum. So I guess we could just convert the entire thing into petroleum. So if I just get another one of these, I just pop that in, and you go water and light oil to petroleum. Then we take this pipe and power that on. Now we have all of that. And now this light oil pipe, I guess, can that just also go into this? Hang on, how does the math work? So we have 18 light oil there. Then this would give us another 7.5. Like 20-something petroleum production. Alright, so I think we do need another one of those, which means we need more chemical plants. Can I craft more? No, I need electronic circuits. Alright, let's... Probably just going to be faster to grab some of this stuff and craft it like that. Alright, so now we have this whole box full of fuel, I guess. Not sure what we're going to do with that. But better to have it than not have it, I guess. And I also need to grab pipes. I just realized I only have one pipe left. So let's run down and grab a resupply of those. Alright, pipes, pipes, pipes. Where are they? Did I miss them? Nope, they're just really far over here for some reason. Alright, let's just grab a couple hundred of those. And then we return. And I guess I'll grab some green circuits while we're passing through. I know that I'm low on them. They're attacking the walls as usual, but still not getting through. Alright. Oh, now these are all full. And they look fine. That's good to see. Alright, so what are we doing? We got a chemical plant. Place that in. And we need to make sulfur and plastic. So we need to get water and coal. And we also need to... What was I doing right? Just getting the math right. So we need another one of those. I think... And then that would... I am currently in the process... They're like the thing after what I'm currently have in the queue, basically. Oh, those are going to the wrong ones. There's a button you can click to rotate these, right? Or like make them... Can I flip them symmetrically somehow? That'd be handy if I could. Alright, if we just put it like there, then this will be fine. We could just do that, and then that. Alright, so then that should be enough. If I can power it on and somehow not place everything specifically to avoid powering it all on. And now these pipes are all messed up. How did that happen? They seem to all want to be water, which is bad because I don't want them to be water pipes. I want them to be regular pipes. So that goes there. How did we do this over here? I guess just we had it come across like that. Okay, well we can drag that pipe down to those. Alright, so now we have all this. and you need to be sulfur. So then that connects over there. The water comes down this way. And this is definitely not the best way of doing this, but I don't know what the best way of doing this is. Alright, so that is that. And then we can pop a power pole in. And then connect the sulfur across. Apparently that power pole, it wasn't far enough down. Alright, so now we have that, which is a much better supply of sulfur. And actually, what I want to do is I want to make sure that we prioritize this one since it's more efficient. So input priority left should work. So now we'll grab sulfur from there and hopefully not from the old inefficient one. Also, I'm stuck in here again, aren't I? I can get up this way. Alright, so this is definitely not the best way of doing this, and I'm not 100% sure that it's even working. But hopefully it is. So then the next thing I need is I also need to make plastic. And I probably want to, if it's possible to like connect this pipe up to this, if that won't break anything. It might break something though. So this is all running. Yeah, okay, so we need to get plastic, which is just petroleum, gas, and coal. So let's get another one of these. And pop that in. You can make plastic. Now we have to find coal, which is over here apparently. Annoying, but fine. So I'm just gonna pop a belt in there and start getting this over there somehow. So we go across that. And then down here. And we actually need some space so that here we turn and we go under that and then across to there. Alright. But this isn't going to work because this is going to be where the belt has to go. So, I mean, I guess we can just do it like this and then have that belt just come out like there or something. How are the power poles so tiny? Just replace everything you possibly can with undergrounds? Yeah, maybe that's the way of doing it. I like being able to just see the belts, at least for now. Just so I can see what's going on better. Alright, so now we just have to bring this down to meet up with this, which is the plastic supply. Oh yeah, for the pipes, definitely. I should definitely do that for the pipes. Alright, no. There's a power pole there, so we can't just cut under. We have to do that, and then boom, done. As long as we aren't relying on having the other side of the belt open. Which probably are, to be honest. Let's head around and see. Do a quick check to make sure that everything here is going fine, which it should be. And yeah, so we're definitely doing that. So we need to make sure this all goes on just the one side of the belt and not that. Alright, so we're going to have to disconnect that temporarily, otherwise the belts are going to get all messed up. And then we run up here. And we just need to, I guess... How do we do this? So this needs to connect in... No, not like that. Why is this so... Like that. Alright. And then this one can do the same, but connecting later on. Alright, now we drop back down, clear out all the stuff that got on the wrong side. And then that should be solved. Alright, so now we just grab all of this. It's a very large amount of plastic. Should probably just drop off somewhere. There we go. Okay, they're attacking the northwest corner this time. That is concerning, because that corner isn't like automatically supplied with ammo. So if it's being attacked, they might actually do real damage. Yeah, okay, so this is going to need to be better defended. Just make that whole area extra secure. Fill you up with ammo in the meantime. And actually just replace you with a fresh, undamaged one. And then we need to bring the ammo up to it. And up to all of these, just in case they attack from a slightly different angle. Alright, that one's in sort of an awkward spot, isn't it? It's going to be easier to just split some of it off to go there, rather than have the belt go up there and then come back out. Alright, then this is... Gotta move back a little for this. So we go there. And then we loop back. Alright, apparently we don't actually have turrets on that corner. Good to know. So then we need to finish off this edge. So we have to go like there, and then back down this way. Alright, so then we need that to feed that one. And then, alright, let's just get off this way. Why am I having so much trouble placing belts today? This is normally very easy. We just have to do that. And bring this all the way back. And then I guess go under that wall. Oh, I made that go backwards. Obviously I didn't want that to go backwards. I wanted that to go from like there to there. And now we just have to find the ammo belts and bring them over there. So ammo belts should be somewhere around here. Yep, here they are. So this just comes over this way. And we're out of belts. So let's grab a resupply of belts. Just run back over this way and pick those up. Belts, belts, belts. Where are the belts? Here they are. Grab another bunch of those. And back to finishing this off. Oh, also, apparently I never reconnected those. That was almost a problem. Alright. This is the ammo belt that I just placed. How is it damaged? How did that happen? We definitely didn't get attacked back here. Oh, I probably just placed a belt that was pre-damaged. Alright, robotics is now being researched. Alright, so that can go through that whole section. And we just need to get it up here? Yeah, up here. Which is going to be easier said than done with the entire main bus going through this area. So, let's see here. How do we do that? So it needs to go out to like that distance, but obviously facing the other way. Which means it goes out to like there. No, apparently one more. Alright, so that goes up to there. And then that is still... I really want to place them backwards. Alright, that's close enough. So we can just do that. And then those are just going to have to dodge that when we expand the bus out. Now we just bring the ammo belt and connect that up. And that should be all good there. Were these walls attacked? Why are they damaged? Well, we have the ammo line right there, so I may as well pop a turret in. Well, also, it's a good thing I did that, because it just reminded me that I don't think I've attached those turrets up to power lines. Let's run up and see. That one is just sort of coincidentally next to some. This one I just never hooked up in the first place. So we get the power line there. That one, you get a power line, and you get a power line, and we placed these belts wrong. Alright, so then that one is not filling up for some reason. I guess, it probably doesn't need to fill up past what it has. Alright, so that should be that secured. Or at least more secure than it was. Never be really secure in this game. Alright, and then before that I was dealing with fluid stuff. So let's run over this way and see what has happened with my fluid stuff while I've been away. So over we go. And up here. So actually these are like, they're just a lot less efficient, right? So I think I want to dismantle them because I'd much rather be using this source of stuff than that one. Alright, so we have all of this petroleum just going into this box of fuel, which I don't think is a good idea. Yeah, I think likewise we're just going to disconnect that so that we don't use the old inefficient stuff. I mean, eventually this box is going to fill up and then we're going to be in trouble. So we need... Apparently also, just looking at these pipes, looks like we have a lot of light oil, not much heavy oil, not much petroleum. Is that an issue? Probably not, because that just gets converted into petroleum. Yeah, this should be fine for at least what I'm doing with it. Assuming that this is enough to deal with all the heavy oil, which it is, and these are going to be enough to deal with all the light oil, which I think they are. Alright, so then we just need to connect this. We just need to connect this petroleum pipe up to that one. And down you go. Okay, why does it always do that though? Why can't it just be normal? Okay, so you have to be very careful because if you mess up even slightly, it will completely replace all of your hard work with water. Alright, so then this I'm gonna have to redo. And then this is going to have to come across there. And alright, can't reach over there. We've unlocked robotics. That's huge. Logistics bots and construction bots. Let's unlock construction bots. That should be fun. Pretty sure those are like the key to blueprints and such. Alright. What if we just make that water pipe also underground so that it isn't in the way? So now we should just be able to connect all those up, and it should be fine, hopefully. So that should work. And let's turn that one off and see if anything breaks horrifically. Not instantly. Of course, it wouldn't be instantaneous. And in the meantime, it is currently nighttime. How is our electricity going? Looks fine. Looks like our electricity is lasting throughout the night, more or less. Alright, so that is technically functional and very much not pretty. There's all sorts of problems with this. but for now it should help. And then, let's see, we have these robots. We need flying robot frames, which needs batteries, electronic circuits, and engine units, and steel. So the engine units are circuits, regular engine units, and lubricant. Alright, so we need to bring lubricant, and that one needs batteries down onto the bus. Alright, let's see if we can find a way of getting this pipe out of all of this mess. Oh yeah, easy. Easy as pie. So that just comes out there. And it's going to continue running along underground mostly. So that's lubricant. And here are batteries. This is not how you're supposed to construct a bus, but this is how I'm going to do it. So let's see. It'll be easiest to go along the north edge, actually, just because there's not much stuff there, because I don't really use it much. So let's just run this along through this giant forest. And blast that path through. And apparently there's still a couple trees in the way. Alright, so now this can just come on through here. And then once we get in approximately the right area, we're going to turn south and meet up with the main bus. Alright, so then we have to get down here. And where exactly are we headed? The end of the bus is right over this way. Alright, so then we're going to need to head down through this. And set up construction of them in this general vicinity. And let's see, we're getting attacked up by the north again. And they're hitting the turrets again successfully, which is no good. Fortunately, we're right here. Oh, it's that turret. Okay, yeah, that turret is fine. I don't care about that one. Surprised it still exists. I guess it's technically within range of this one. Alright, that's fine. If they're attacking from that direction, though, should make this little box there a bit bigger. Probably seal off that as well. So we don't have a gate to outside anymore, but we don't really need to go out in that direction super urgently. Alright, so now we go down here, and we've got all these batteries. So, what was I doing? Electrical engine unit needs lubricant, so that's the first step. Which means we actually need to get that over here before the batteries. So we're going to run all the way back up there. And yeah, I think once I have construction bots, I'm probably going to redesign much of the base. Just take some of the stuff that isn't on the belt currently and just make sure that everything is nice and organized. Alright, so this is the lubricant pipe. You just need to come over this way. Okay, I guess that's fine. So that just keeps going. And keeps going. It's got a long journey ahead of it, and probably we're going to need to restock on pipes. Alright, so we need to get underground pipes to get onto the other side of the belt. And then we need to get over to this way. And we're out of pipes. As expected. So let's head back. And they're right here, actually. Didn't realize they were so close. So let's grab another bunch of those. And another bunch of those. Alright, so now we just need to get this like there, I guess. Pop that in. Go all the way underground to there. That should work. And now we have to just bring these over here somewhere. And get rid of some extra trees. The cost of very nearly destroying the pipe. And a very critical power line. Yeah, I guess we're just going to have to place that. There we go. Alright, so now we have lubricant. We need to make electric engines. How do you get lubricant into an assembling machine? I didn't realize that was an option. Alright. We have unlocked construction bots. Now let's unlock, I guess, the other type of bots, right? Logistics bots. And we're obviously going to have to actually craft the construction bots first, which is apparently a multi-stage process, but it looks like we have unlocked all the blueprint technology. Alright, so this is... where is it? Electric engine frame. Okay, so the fluid outputs is just one of the sides. What is this tip? Rotating assembly machines. Assembly machine can be rotated using R. Alright, that's good to know. You can do that after you place it. Helpful. Alright, so we put that in. Then we're going to just drag this pipe up. Get rid of some fallen trees in the way. And this has to come along to there and down there. So that is the fluid portion of it. Then we just need green circuits and basic engines. Let's blow up some more trees. And expand the bus over to here. So over we go. Get rid of this tree. And we're out of belts again. Hopefully we won't have to do much more of this running back to resupply once we have bots of various types, we can have them do this for us. Alright, so we run back, we grab our belts, and do we need more underground belts? No, just regular belts. Got plenty of underground belts. Alright, so now we move forwards and hopefully just finish this stuff off. Alright, so we have the green circuits. We have all the rest of this stuff going across. And then what else does this need? Engine units. Which is, of course, it's the one all the way down at the very bottom. Which means we are going to have to get all of this stuff in. Alright, so we have all that. Now, we grab the engine units. And we take 4 off of the sulfur. Put that in there. And that goes like that. And that goes like that. And that is as far as that'll go. Yeah, why does it always do that? Why do they see the corners like that? It's quite annoying. Alright, so we're going to have to clear that out. And make sure that that just goes across like that. And then this has to go like that, so that that can come through. Alright, so then that can go up. Oh, no, it can't. It can't do that because there's a pipe there blocking the inserters. So how many inputs do we need? We need 2 inputs and 1 output. How have I done that? Go back in the inventory. So if we need 2 inputs and 1 output, we're going to have to put both of the inputs on the same belt for that to fit. So that goes up. That goes in. And then we need to just connect that up. And they're attacking the walls up north again, as they tend to do. Alright, now we need to grab the green circuits. So we need to clear out some space. Get the green circuits in. And just put them on like that. Then we connect those 2 across. And we have our output belt, which goes down there. And now we just power it all up. And we should have electric engine units being crafted now. And I think I'm going to want more than one of these. Let's just get 3 for now. And rotate them in properly. And then put those, and then we just need the outputs. And the power lines. Also, this belt is facing the wrong way. I don't know why I'm struggling with belts so much today. It's been fine every other time we've been doing this. But today, they just aren't working out quite as well. Alright, so that should be a good number of assembly machines. And then what I want to do is productivity modules. Because every little bit counts. We do have the ability to unlock Tier 2 modules once we have some research available. Alright, so we have we have the electric engine units. Now we need to combine them with steel plates and batteries and electronic circuits to make flying drone frames. So, steel plates, yeah, they're still attacking up there. Steel plates are here. We need to extend these belts out a little bit more. Alright, so all those go out. And then we have the steel plates, which need to come up. So we take 4 out of that. We put that in. Then we take 3 out of that one. And then that can go across. No problem. And then we do that to make sure the bus stays functional. These are unfortunately too close to the bus to just grenade, so I'm going to have to take them down manually. Also, there's a cliff here, which there is some fancy kind of explosive that you can use to deal with that, but I don't know if I've unlocked it yet. Have I unlocked cliff explosives anywhere in here? No, I haven't. Oh well. So, back to what we were doing. So we have steel plates, we have the engine units, the batteries are up there, the circuits are here. Alright, so now we just need to connect all this stuff up. So let's first get this tree down, because it's standing right in the way of everything, basically. Now, if we just bring the batteries over here, so we need those, and we're going to need to be pretty efficient with belt usage here. So let's see, how do we do this? We can put the batteries onto the same belt as the electric engine. That should be easy. So we just have that go up, and that come across, and done. And so then what we can do is have the steel plates go up there. And so now those two should get us most of the things, and then we just need the electronic circuits. So we can just take this and I guess just twist it around like that. Blow up some more trees at the cost of damaging the walls and the belts a little bit. And then that can come down and get the circuits. Alright, so that is technically functional, which is fine by me. And then we just output onto there. And we're going to need probably a lot of these. But for now, I guess we have 3. So these all go in. And these all go in. And then they all output to there. And get powered up. Then we put the recipes in, and that should be some amount of drone frames being produced. So then we have to deal with all of this. How do robots work? So we have fancy chests now, I guess, and construction bots, which are just electronic circuits and flying robot frames. That's easy enough. Alright, let's see if I can find where my assemblers are being crafted, because I'm going to need to run back and grab some. Here they are. Let's grab another 50 of those. And then return over here. Alright, so we have all of the stuff needed to craft the drones here, theoretically. Except that there's a cliff. Alright, that kind of breaks the brain a little bit, but sure, I guess. I guess that's fine. Now let's get rid of these stupid trees so that I can actually see what's going on up here. Yeah, at this point the bus is basically dead. Like, we've messed it up so much at this point that we're gonna need to redo it significantly in order to get any use out of it. But let's get construction robot. And that has to be a little further back. So up there. And there. That's all set up. So you can make construction robots. And you can all be powered. And then this, I guess we can try to save the main bus a little bit. So this can take up to 1.5 frames a second. But these three combined are only making 0.09 frames a second. That is pretty much awful. But I guess it means we're not going to need that many construction robot builders. Let's grab more productivity modules. And then run back over here. Yeah, the walls up there are still being attacked. That's fine. So these just need to be more efficient. Alright, and now we have put a random box, I guess, and that can handle all of the drones. So we're going to need to craft a roboport, probably. Actually, how does this work? So, roboport defines the area of network coverage, charging and storage point for robots. Logistics bots fulfill logistics orders, and construction bots perform construction orders. Provider chests supply the network with items. Okay. So, construction robots, you can set down blueprints, and the robots will go out and do that. Passive provider chests supply items to the logistics network. Storage chests store items from player trash slots and construction orders, so that just takes stuff So that's what the network does with stuff it finds. And then ghost buildings are basically weird blueprints. Okay, so that should be easy enough. We need to make a roboport, which means grabbing advanced circuits and steel ingots. So we grab some of those, we grab some of those, and we click that. Alright, so then place that and power it all up. And alright, it's got a whole bunch of construction bots now. And by a whole bunch, I mean it's got 4. And low power. 32 entities are missing repair packs. Yeah, I guess it's going to want to do that now, huh? And I took apart my repair pack production at some point. Okay, so how do you make repair packs? I'm pretty sure just gear wheels and electronic circuits. I'm pretty sure at some point I had this and I took it apart. So let's just create a very simple version there. We don't have the space to do it properly, but we can just do that. And then if we have a passive provider chest, which just goes there, then it's out of the logistics network. So we're going to need more roboports, I guess. Let's grab a bunch more of those. And apparently that's going to involve manual crafting like 100 things. Let's just preempt that and just grab these. Alright, so now we can just craft that. And where is the thing that I just crafted? There you are, right in the middle for some reason. Alright, so let's just pop that down there, I guess. So then, so it's, power is obviously a concern now. And we need to get the construction bots over there. Yeah, I feel like this would be a much bigger moment if I had any idea how to actually set this up. So we have construction bots. We have bots over here, but no repair packs. We have repair packs over there, but no bots. So, you know, things are not really functioning at the moment. Alright, what if I just like manually move bots over to there? Will that accomplish anything? Alright, so let's see. Does this box... No, it does this. So we can grab 14 bots from there. And then we run over to the other one and we put them in there. So if we just do this, and where did those bots go? Why are they so hard to find? Jeez. Inventory management. It's not my strong suit. There they are. So we put them in there. And they're off, I guess. Alright, so that's that. I guess those are going to be just off repairing things. So that's nice. Now we just need to figure out how to do that more properly. And I might want to just make these speed modules instead, just so that they produce at any reasonable amount of rate. Because this is very, very slow. Alright, so then... Alright, we're also 92% of the way towards logistics bots, which has been taking forever for no apparent reason. I guess just because 3 machines isn't enough. Logistics networks. Okay, so that is at least a good way of telling how big it is. And these are 2 separate logistics networks somehow. Alright, maybe the logistics robots will help transport the items around. And we're definitely going to need more of these, I think. So let's see, how can we do that? Okay, well, the easiest way would just be we take this, we run it up there, so that instead of coming around like that, we have this whole area to place these in. And we can just get a lot of them and get rid of a big rock. So all of those can go in there. And then that runs up that way. But not quite that far, because we need it to not intersect with this one, which goes down there. And we put all of those in. Alright, logistics robots complete. Now what else can we do to make these better? I saw... Okay, personal roboport would be nice. Let's have that go in. And then we need... Well, we also need the electric motors, right? That's going to be the tricky part, probably. So we can pretty easily just power all of those on. Like that. And then attach them into some of these parts. So they need the long-handled inserters as well. And what's going on here? Why can I not place anything in that spot? Oh, I can, it just looks funny for some reason. Alright, so then we need to get this belt to also go up that way. And we need to grab these to do it. This was quite poorly designed on my part. That's fine though. We still do have some bots at least. And they're doing something. So then, I guess, are logistics bots just the same crafting recipe as construction bots? Let's check. No, they're advanced circuits, but that's fine. Alright, so then we just get... Okay, now we're under attack. That's fine, not worried about that. Yeah, okay, so let's just say, like, officially the main bus is dead, and we're just gonna rebuild with robots. So this comes up here. And then this doesn't need to extend out that far. So this one can then come down here. And do that. Then take these trees down. And now we just hook it up to the belts. Tell you to make logistics bots. And power you up. Then we just have to output you onto a belt, which then throws you into there. Alright, so now this also has some logistics robots, which is nice. Again, it would be way cooler if I A, knew how to use them, and B, had a functioning factory. Alright, so we have all of those. It feels like there ought to be like a receiver chest somewhere in here. Maybe storage chests do that? I don't know, let's craft a couple of those. Alright, so let's put this down just somewhere, I guess. Storage chest. Logistics filters. Repair packs? How do I... It doesn't seem to be working. Yeah, so it's just still complaining about lack of repair packs. But we've unlocked the personal roboport, so that's nice. And then we can just keep on upgrading something, probably. Let's unlock productivity module 2 next. Alright, so how does this whole bot thing even work, is the main question. So we would really like to get stuff from these storage chests into something else. Actually, if I just put those in there. So that works temporarily to fill all these things. So those can run out and repair stuff. And that's fine for them. But what we really need is to somehow be able to transport items around with these. So let's check this again. Storage chest. Only take stuff from player trash slots and deconstruction orders. Passive provider chest just supplies stuff. Okay. Personal logistics. Moves items from logistics provider chest to fulfill personal logistics requests. And okay, so that'll be handy once we can set this whole thing up. But I think I am going to have to like manually go out and do something for it. 2 entities are being damaged. Where? Okay, so it's all the way down there again. Alright, so how are we meant to do this? So we have this one over here, which has a steady supply of repair packs, and actually we don't want it to do more than that. But it doesn't have a steady supply of bots. And then the other one has the opposite problem. It seems like I do have to actually belt things around in order for them to work, which is a bit of a shame. But for now, yeah, so we can, now we have this whole logistics thing. So we can put stuff in here, and the logistics bots will take them to that. So let's just try that. So if we just do that, then this little guy is going to come and he's going to grab that coal, some of it at least, and get rid of it for me. Alright, it's not the fastest thing in the world. It is definitely not the fastest thing in the world, but it is something at least. Alright, and then alright, so you can turn that off, and then you can set requests. So if I want to always have fast transport belts, and I want to have between 1 and 400 of them, let's say, and then I get one of these, and I head back over here. And this probably isn't going to work because it's probably going to be too far out of range of all of them. But if I just head on over here, and instead of that just being a regular old box, what if I take that out and I put in a passive provider chest, and I tell it to store a couple hundred of them. Yeah, so as expected, that's out of range, which means I need more logistics hubs. Where are they? Feels like there's got to be a better way of doing this. Alright, so we grab a whole bunch of that stuff. Then we need more gear wheels. Let's just grab a stack of them. And we're also going to need fancy circuits, so let's head over there to grab those. Alright, fancy circuits, where are they? Why is it so dark? Alright, so let's just grab a whole bunch of those. And craft up another logistics hub thing. So then we run over here. And there's got to be a better way of doing this. It's like, can I add multiple of these to the same network so that we're not stuck with them being separate like this? I really hope so. For now, let's get this guy down there. And do I have any logistics spots in my inventory? Probably not. Alright, so this could use some construction robots. Where are they? I could have sworn I saw some of those in here. I have flying robot frames. Oh yeah, here they are. Construction robots. Go in. And I guess you can also store some repair packs. So there you go. Now you can go about repairing whatever random stuff. And then we also need to bring logistics bots over there to see if that works. Alright, so now we run all the way over here. And once again regretting that I never quite got around to making concrete floors. So we've unlocked Tier 2 productivity modules. Okay, now let's make the robots be able to carry more at once, because that seems useful. Wait, how are you doing that? Did you just... Oh, yeah, because I had more than 400 belts. So they yoinked some of the spare belts from me. Fair enough. Alright, let's grab some of you. And then head over. So first of all, just basic. If I just don't have any of those, then the bots will go and grab some for me. And be very, very slow about it, it seems. Yeah, this is not the most impressive thing that I've ever seen a bot do. Although I guess there's literally one of them right now, because I took all the rest of them out. So that should get a second one in this network. Yep, they are doing their best. Now if I just run away, they're just never going to catch up. Alright. So this currently seems somewhat impractical. So what I need to do then is... First of all, how does one, like, merge logistics networks? Is that a thing that you can do? Logistics networks. So that one, it seems like you can only just have one of them. So that, we figured that out mostly. We haven't done this, but it shouldn't be too hard. Passive provider chest. Yeah, okay. So we need to... We really need to figure out how to combine these. If that's at all possible. So what if I just... Okay, what if I just have two of them right next to each other? So we're going to go over here and we're going to pick up one of these spare ones that we have. So we run over here. And let's just pick you up. How's the inventory going? Still somehow not completely filled up. So let's bring this back to be definitely within range of another one and see if we can get two of them in the same network. And see if we can, like, extend the range of a single network that way. That would be helpful. Alright, so here we are. These guys are filling me up with belts that I deposited there earlier. So if I go here... Yeah, look, there's that little yellow line there. I bet that is gonna do what I want it to do. So as long as... I think as long as the little yellow lines are connected up, like... Yeah, okay, so let's blow up these trees. And then grab you, put you in there. and then we need to power it up. And yeah, it now looks like these are all connected together. So that's just the trick to it. You just have to make sure they're not too terribly far away from each other. Alright, that is fantastic. Alright, so now we test. If we do that, and then we run away really fast. So now they're still going to bring it to me even though I'm all the way over here because I'm still within the range of the network. But if I run too far, eventually they'll give up, I think. Yep, and there they go back to base, having given up on supplying me with my belts. Alright, so then we're going to need to change this. So let's just change that to be 400 at all times. Oh, and they're just going to deposit it in the nearest thing, I guess. Alright, so that is a huge breakthrough. So we now know approximately how these work. And how big are their ranges? Not huge, but not small either. So when we construct the new base, which we're going to have to do soon because this current one is not at all adequate, then we're just going to have to make sure to have the logistics hubs every so often. Speaking of which, now that we have all of these, can I craft another one? Because if I am able to just connect this top bit up here into the logistics network, then it should theoretically just auto repair everything up there. And yeah, so it wants to replace these walls, but it can't. So we're just going to do that manually. And we should see, yeah, the bots are making the journey up. And so now we don't even need to worry about this side of things getting degraded by repeated attacks. It should just be fine. As long as the bots don't all get destroyed by biters or anything, which I believe I've heard is a thing that can happen. Alright, so that is all good. Now I can't help but notice these guys aren't really being very successful at supplying me with belts. They are doing their best, and if I stand right here next to the box, they can do it. But I don't really want to stand here right next to the box while I get reloaded. Alright, so how many of these do I have? 17 logistics and 118 constructions. Alright, can I just, like... Because what's happening is the construction bots are getting first dibs on all of the frames. So can I just dismantle that and let it prioritize logistics bots for a little bit? Alright, so that is pretty neat. So, I just need to keep logistics bots in mind when I'm building my next base. Which should be easy enough, I think. And then the other thing is blueprints. So, if I... Let's see here. I'm going to just head down here, place down some buildings. So say I have that. And then I have all of this. And just something like this, right? And let's put inserters in as well. So we have all that. Then we put all of those in. And then we give this thing power coverage, which I think that does. Looks like it. Then we copy that. Now we can just place it somewhere. And sure, place it there. And then obviously they don't have the resources for that aside from the belts. But there was this personal robo port. So if I grab a whole bunch of batteries, so let's just go here and grab a whole bunch of those. Now I can craft that up and put it into my equipment grid. And then they should be able to take resources from me to build things, I think. So there it is. Pop that in. And it's getting filled up from the batteries. Alright. So now if I head down, then the robots are gonna just head off and build all this stuff. Alright, that is wonderful. That's gonna save so much time building stuff. Yeah, and then we just, like... Actually, yeah, so if I just place those as ghost buildings, then I don't even have to be within my personal range, and it just works. Alright. So we've spent some time messing around with bots, figuring out how they work. We are up to 38 logistics bots, which should hopefully do a bit of a quicker job refilling me of supplies. So now what I need is I need a lot of drone ports. So let's see here. Also, how do we make productivity modules too? Oh, they're complicated. Okay. We're not messing with those. So drone ports are steel plates, gear wheels, and advanced circuits. So what if I just take some advanced circuits, because we're going to need a good solid amount of drone ports for this. So let's take steel plates and bring them down, and then alright, looks like they finally got through that. I should go up to investigate to make sure that that wasn't actually a major crisis. So I think that should just be the weird spare one up there. But oh no, they got through the actual drone. They actually got to the gun turret itself. That is concerning. What if I just put another line of walls? How about that? Now what are you going to do? Alright, so that is that. And now we need to get down to finish our very lazy automation of the drone hubs. So we get this, and it goes down there. And then the other thing was just gear wheels. So that has to come down. and I guess we just merge it into there, and that should work. And then we call those transport hubs, and alright, don't pull out the grenades. Just put all of those into just a random box, so that once these are all ready to go, I mean, this crafting is obviously hugely expensive and takes a ton of resources and a ton of time, but it'll save me the trouble of doing this manually myself. Alright, so that is that automated. What else might we want to do? Passive provider chests, so both types of circuits, and steel chests, which are just steel plates. So yeah, let's get green circuits down here as well. So we have green circuits, we have red circuits, we have steel plates. So first off, we take the steel plates, and we're going to have to... Actually, can I just do that? I can. Oh, that's brilliant. Love that. Yeah, this is much better than doing all that by myself. Alright, so now we just go like that, and you can make steel chests. Congratulations. Then we take the green circuits and we pop them onto that. That's going to be 1.5 steel chests a minute, which seems like plenty probably. Passive provider chests actually uses that many for one of these, but that's fine. Alright, so then that, and that. Alright, so now this just has to output onto a belt. And I heard you like chests, so I put your chests in a chest. And once we have this automation actually completed, we're gonna have to make those be passive provider chests, just because for the next base we're gonna want like everything to be in the logistics network. For this one, we're mostly gonna be doing manual restocks, I think. Alright, worker robot cargo size is up to 95%. Have 13 of those, and 10 of these. They only stack up to 10, so that's fine. Alright, the red circuits are being very heavily used, of course. So how about we run back and just see what's going on. We've just constantly had problems with red circuits, right? Like, just perpetually. That's going to be another nice thing with the new factory. Once we rebuild, we will be able to have sufficient production of all these things. Alright, so we got that upgrade. Then the next thing, yes, worker robot speed is going to be essential, because these guys are very, very slow at the moment. Like, painfully slow. Alright, so now we just have to... I guess that we just have to start working on setting up the new factory, I guess? Let's blow up some trees. That'll be fun. Alright, so what we need for the new factory is... I might want to do trains. I don't know how trains work, but I want to use them in the long run because I've heard they're very powerful. Much more powerful than satisfactory trains. And if I'm building a whole new factory, I may as well use all of the things that I might want to use for it. So we're going to need to automate probably a lot of this stuff. Okay. Entities are destroyed down in the southeast corner. That's not good. That might actually be a bit of a crisis. I have to run over there real quick. You never quite just get time to yourself in this game. There's always random stuff going on. I guess my robots are fixing stuff down here. Yeah, this happened. Alright, so those go in there. I sort of left the robots behind a little bit. So they're going to have to run over here and catch up. So off they go. And aside from that little bit of damage, I mean, this is why we have multi-layer thick walls, right? So that's fine. Just gonna stand here a bit, let the drones repair everything. And it looks like that might need a bit. Alright, let's blow up some of that forest and make this wall a little bit thicker. Just hilariously thick so we don't have to worry about it as much. And there we go. And then just as we're passing by, we're just sort of incidentally curing all this stuff of the random minor attrition. Who knows how this stuff even got damaged? I think there was a nest down here at one point that we destroyed. This is very satisfying, having these bots travel around behind me. Alright, but for rails we need stone, steel plates, and iron sticks. So the stone is going to be up here. Okay, so those some things are being damaged, but it is in a repair zone, I think, so that should be fine, actually. So we have steel plates there. Well, not that much of it, concerningly. I guess because a huge amount of it is being used on the new products. Alright. Just let those do that, I guess. Then the stone is going to be up here somewhere. Alright, so we need to get steel plates and iron sticks up to the stone area. I think that's going to be easier to get some stuff out of the base than getting stuff into the base. Also, did I pick up any of those extra... No, I didn't. It would have been nice to be able to get that into the drone networks to just more passively restock me, but it seems like that's not possible at the moment. Alright, so steel plates. Yeah, I mean, this is just a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. So let's get that. And... Alright, so if I just cut some of that out, drag this along like that, then that gives this an opportunity to go down. Alright, robot speed increased. Cool, we're going to want a lot more of that, so let's just immediately queue up another one of those. Alright, so hopefully this can make it all the way down there. It can, but it runs right into another belt, which is one that I'm actually using. So we're going to have to fix that. Alright, so then we just pop that across again so that that's fine. So we have steel plates more or less out of the main bus. So then next we need to find our iron sticks and get them out the same way. So they are right here. Okay, wait, actually, we have steel plates and iron sticks right next to each other here. So if we just bring both of these up and then loop them over this way, because this is where the stone is. Oh boy. Don't do that. You go across there. Then we're going to have another one there for the sticks. And then these can now just come along this way. And we're going to need to restock on these. So let's grab another 50 of those. Alright, there's a big attack down there, but it seems to have been repelled. Probably going to have to do something about that at some point. Just take out the biter nest causing it. Alright, so these come along this way. And we're right about at where the stone is. Then these can turn up north to get the last little bit of the way. And over here. Alright, so now we're in the vicinity of the stone patch. We need to get this belt to, I guess, just zigzag up like that. And then over here. And then up. Alright, so now we have all of those. Let's set up some assemblers. And you can make rail. You can make rail. And then we put all of those in. Put power pole. And then we have to get this, just the last little bit, which is going to revolve moving some of those trees out. Is that? No, that's too close. Alright, let's just blow up some trees. We have the drones to repair all the damage we do to our own base here. Alright, so now we just feed those in. And take those out. And power it all up. Alright, so now we have train track production. So that should be helpful. So with train track production, now we can mostly do that. And then we're going to need possibly rail signals as well, automated. Yeah, I don't know how all of these are going to work, but we probably won't need like an infinite number of stops and locomotives. So we might, at least for now, be manageable to just manual craft them. Alright, let's only make up to a certain amount of those. Don't want to go crazy there. Alright, so now we have train tracks. So let's make some stops and a locomotive. And apparently this is all using a huge amount of steel, which is inconvenient because we don't really have a huge amount of steel. I guess we can grab some spare down there. And grab some cargo wagons. Alright, so we have a train stop. But it must be built next to rails. Alright, so I guess we have to put the rails in first. That's fine. So we have rails. And we got a new tip for it. Rail buildings. Yep, that's about what you would expect it to be. Alright, so we have this. And just gotta... Let's just expand this out far enough. Far enough for it to be a reasonable test. So then now we get our stops. Which... How does this work? Alright, we get a tip, which explains it now that we've placed it. Alright, so the train stops, and then you just use inserters to grab them out. Alright, that's fine. So I think we're probably going to need a full loop train for this. How do you... Okay, apparently the turns for trains are not very sharp. Good to know. Alright. That is bad. An entity has been destroyed. Is that same thing up there? I'm going to have to run over there to make sure that it isn't a catastrophe. They've definitely gotten through some walls anyway. Alright, so what happened up here? Yeah, they definitely got through that. So this is concerning. There's pretty clearly the defenses up here aren't good enough, which is not great. Alright, stop rebuilding that one up there. I'll just head out here. We don't need that. We don't need these walls either. Alright, so those all go out. And I guess those ones are far enough out that it's not a problem. So So that's like the second time they've destroyed this turret. Which makes me think he needs a friend. So let's just put another one in there. Now hopefully 2 turrets back to back there should be able to hold off the biters. And let's see, how do we get another turret supporting this one? I guess just like anywhere in here would probably do. Like just put you there and feed you. You'll at least probably help a little bit. I mean, you have that arc around there covered. So you'll only help at the last minute, but you should help some. And then I thought this whole area was, or no, the logistics network thing we have there stops right just barely short of covering the stuff that it's supposed to be covering, which is not ideal. So let's head down here and grab some of those. And also grab some of those. I don't need more than a full stack of them, I think, especially at the moment. Alright, that's a cliff, so we have to go around it. And then we run up here. And we just need... a guy up in this general vicinity. Like there. Anywhere really, as long as it just has this whole area covered. It's good enough. Alright, then also there's this patch is, I guess, sort of starting to deplete. It's still got a huge amount of iron, but a couple of the ones around the edge are running low. Alright, so what were we doing, right? We were messing with trains. So let's grab some more rails and get a proper train just loop in, so we can see what that's like. And then, alright, there's a big attack down at the south bit. So we should get those connected into the logistics network as well, since we have all of these network hubs. Where are they? Can I put you onto the hotbar? And... alright, so if we put it there, then they're all in range. And then we bring them out here, and we remain in range. We're going to have to power these up. So let's see that. So we can just use drones to power up the drone hubs, which seems pretty cool to me. Alright, then we just keep on going. And power those up. And you'd think that this would be in range now, but I guess the green is just the range of like the immediate. So the green is just the range of connections, and the orange is the range that the drones will actually go to, I guess. Alright, train upgrades. Sure, let's get some train upgrades, since I'm going to be working with trains. Alright, so now we have to get over here and keep on bringing this over. Alright, and it looks like that range is enough now. I mean, they've definitely been repairing stuff down there. And apparently they found a power pole that's been destroyed. But I don't know where it is. Ah, it's that one. There we go. Alright, recharging after power outage. So I guess we're just gonna need more power then, because it's currently nighttime and the solar panels aren't working. That's good to know. We're gonna need a lot more power for this. Now let's continue with our train experimentation, though. Just get an idea of how those work. Looks like the coal patch is starting to have issues. Yeah, it's definitely having coal-related issues there. Might be contributing to the power outage. Alright, well, we'll deal with that later. For now, we are also receiving resupplies of belts, which is cool. I'm surprised how they're still functioning with the electricity situation. But not going to complain about that. Yeah, there are all sorts of drones right by the thing there. Alright, so if we just head up here and... Alright, I have a trash thing somewhere, right? So I can just dump all of this stuff and some drones will come to grab it at some point. Probably. Alright, in the meantime, let's clear out more trees. And let's see, how do we get trains to work? Did I not pick up the stuff from this? No, I didn't. Also, apparently, I never quite got power to both of those, so it's not even producing at full speed. Alright, so let's do that. Yeah, those biter attacks sure are becoming an issue. Alright, so... Okay, that's definitely not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do would be something like that. Alright, let's get rid of all of these trees as well. They all need to go. And back to messing with the trains. So now we have a bit of a train loop. And we can put in a stop somewhere on the loop. I guess it has to be on a straight section. And we can have drone do that, I guess. Alright, then we put a locomotive there, and some cargo wagons there and there. Alright, so that exists now. So this is going to need fuel. So let's feed it from just a chest. And we're going to need to get the power over here. So where is the power going to be? Down this way is probably going to be the closest. There we go. So now, alright, looks like this very last connection didn't quite make it. So there you go. Now this train is fueled up. And so then we need to put some stuff in to these. So let's just get some loaders and some boxes. And alright, so we're going to put transport belts in there. And fast transport belts in there. And then, so we can add stations there. Alright, so we're going to have to head up here. This test zone is on top of a very small iron ore patch. We need another one of those. And this has to be facing the other way, right? Because that one is facing that way. Okay, so you just have to place it on the right side of the track, I guess. So that will go there. And then we will have a power line going up. And then we just grab some stuff out. And I only have one box left. Make some steel chests, though. Alright. So all those go in. And now we just have to tell the train to go around, I guess. Add station. That one. Add station. That one. Interrupts are conditions that can be added to schedules. Okay. Well, we set that to automatic. It's just going around in circles and not stopping for anybody. Okay. Okay, well, they were real quick, aren't they? How do I stop you? Okay, what if you just stop? So I set you back to manual mode, and then you're gonna slow down. Okay, so you add wait condition. And you're gonna wait for like 10 seconds. And you're gonna go time past like 10 seconds. And now if I set you back. Alright, now you do something reasonable and normal. You stop at the stations. Okay. So the first one, though, we don't want, because that's just the fuel. And let's put the fuel back in the box. And I mean, it's pretty quick. So I guess, how much does this hold? It holds a ton, as expected. And even on short trips like this, it's pretty fast. So that is encouraging. All right, so you can stop, and then. So I guess I've seen there's like a way of doing production with like exclusively trains instead of having a giant bus. I don't know how that works, but I could probably figure it out. So, oh boy. Looks like the biter attacks are getting to be a significant problem. I might have to spend some time solving that. Yeah, let's take out a biter nest or two. Alright, so we can restock all these turrets, but they just keep getting destroyed, which is not ideal. So, what we need is... We actually need more turrets. Sort of low on them, and I don't think I have them automated anywhere anymore, because I made like a gazillion of them right at the beginning, and then haven't really needed to build many of them since. So, I guess we're going to have to fix that. So we need lots of iron plates, lots of iron gear wheels. Grab a couple stacks of those. And do I have any place that's just a giant box filled with iron plates? No, so we're just going to grab some off of these belts, whatever these are for. Alright, Braking Force 1 finished. That's good. And then, I guess, projectile damage would be nice to have. Since well, it's probably going to be a little bit too late to help my upcoming mission, but it's important to have it anyways. Yeah, they're hitting that place again already. It's been like 5 minutes. Alright, so we have hopefully enough turrets. And we don't normally need like a billion turrets for these expeditions. But I don't know, it's been a while. The biter's probably grown stronger since I last blew up a nest. Okay, apparently we are in peak logistics zone here. Just all the bots ever are zipping around now. I have no idea what they're all doing. Mostly bringing belts to me and taking some stuff away. I don't know where they're all going, though, or coming from, for that matter. Some of them just seem to be floating about aimlessly. But we are almost out. Our trash slots have almost been emptied. So that's nice. They're pretty quick with that now. And probably just like 1 or 2 more belt deliveries, and then this should be done. Alright, cool. And I can see on the mini-map there's another biter attack incoming against that wall. Although it seems like it was just easily destroyed that time, which is nice. Alright, so here we are. There looks like there are 2 big biter nests down there. Probably why this is getting hit so hard. Alright, I'm gonna create the old manual gate because I can't craft one. And then we're gonna head out and hopefully not die. Alright, zoom out a lot. Should be close-ish. Alright, so now we have a turret to hopefully defend ourselves. Give it a bit of an extra wall there. Alright, yeah, this... The biters are a bit of a problem. But looks like this is manageable. So we just need to place an inconspicuous little box there. Then put a turret in it and arm the turret. And it looks like our personal bots are actually helping keeping things from being destroyed. That's nice. Alright, there are a lot of these little guys now, which is a problem. Alright, so now we need to just push a little bit further forwards. And this should be good to clear out this group. Especially with our bots keeping the turret alive against the ranged attackers. Alright, so that's that batch cleared. So now we just need to pick up all the turrets and ammunition and then move down to the next batch. Alright, I don't want to get too close without a turret. Alright, so we have this. And it's nice and secure. And now we just have to get rid of those guys. And there's still even more of them. Alright, so that is mostly dealt with. I mean, they're still just sort of constantly showing up. Just right at the edge of the range. So we're going to move forwards again. Place another thing there. And congratulations, you now have a turret. Alright, so now that is cleared. Now we can move even further forwards. And maybe that one was a bit ambitious, but it seems to have worked. So now we just get rid of these guys with all of our grenades. Yeah, this method of destroying them takes a lot more grenades than is perhaps reasonable. Alright, so then you just get the regular ammo and you can just fire away. And that is that dealt with. There's got to be a more efficient way of doing this, but this way seems relatively safe. Now we can just pick up all of that and head back home. Alright, so that was another success, and hopefully that should clear that out. Now there's this one here, which I'm sort of worried about, extending it up into this area. So let's run along, make sure that just get all that stuff defended. And just keep, because I don't know exactly where along this they're most likely to hit, but hopefully the first wave they send won't be that big, so hopefully that should be sufficient. Alright, so that is that. So I think we're mostly set up to start work on the new base. And we've figured out trains, got some of that stuff automated. We're going to need some more. We're going to need some design stuff. We're probably going to need to automate stops and maybe signals as well. But for now, at least, should be doing well. So I think we're probably going to wind up here. I need to strategize like the exact design of the new base, and that's gonna take some time. I don't want to just start hastily putting stuff down and being completely wrong on it. So I think we should be just about sorted. So I think we're gonna end the stream here. So yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. Had a real good time as usual. We got a lot done here. We have bots now, which are going to significantly improve just like all the construction process once I get them properly set up more. And then we also have trains that we basically know how to do, and we just have to get everything set up and running. And yeah, that's about it. So tomorrow I will be playing Satisfactory as usual, where we are starting up a new factory, I think? I can't remember exactly what we're doing in that game. It seems like every time I swap games, it sort of wipes my memory of the other one until I load it up and remember what was happening again. But yeah, so if you're interested in Satisfactory, make sure to follow for that. If you're interested in this, then I will be streaming Factorio again on Tuesday. So yeah, that's about it. Make sure to follow if you haven't already, and I will see you guys then.